This is the Zoom meeting for Math 1111, 9 p.m., November 2nd. I gave a pretty thorough introduction at the 12 o'clock Zoom meeting, so I'm not going to repeat that. I am just going to maybe work a few problems. So I highly recommend you watch the 12 p.m. Zoom meeting if you want a thorough introduction. The sections this week are 4.1 and 4.2. I think I'll, out of this section, I worked number 7 at 12 o'clock. I think I'll work, say, number 9. I won't bother to do all of these. You're basically putting each of these numbers in for the x. So off of page 372, say number 9. You got a 1/3 raised to the x plus 1. And they want an f, say, of a half. F, that's a g of a half, and a g of a square root of 2. So you'd have 1/3, the half add 1, and when you punch this, you leave your 1/3 in parentheses. The exponent key is over here, and you want to make sure you put your half plus 1 in parentheses because it's got multiple pieces. Anything with multiple pieces, you want to stick in parentheses. But I think you'll find chapter 4 a lot more straightforward than maybe chapter 3 was, because it's a lot of calculator work. 1 divided by 3, parentheses, so there's your 1/3, and you're raising it to the parentheses 1/2, add 1. 0.19245. All right. So then when you do a square root of 2, you're putting in a square root of 2 for the x. For the square root of 2, add 1. Enter. You call it back and play around, or you can punch the whole thing again. So there's a 1/3 raised, parentheses, square root of 2, and add 1. There you are. 0.07049. There's no real rules about how many places to keep. Generally 2 to 3. Could have called it 0705. All right, let's try a domain and range problem. This is off. We'll try problem 33. I want you to graph this. You want to graph, and you don't have to do it by starting from the graphs and figure. You just use the calculator. So we want a graph, and then they want domain, range, and asymptote. All right. Y is equal to 5 to the minus 6, add 1. All right. Is negative x, add 1. Don't need any parentheses. And I froze. Had problems at 12 o'clock today, too. Internet has not been a smooth running machine today. Started off, worked through that pretty good, and all of a sudden it wants to freeze. Well, I guess I'll break it out. Let's see if I can get it to. Back to the camera. Not working like a well-oiled machine tonight. There we are. All right. Get back to the camera. Okay, so there we have problem 33. Graph. I've entered it. Graph. Okay, so this one, actually going to cross at 2. X is 0, 5 to the 0 is 1, plus 1 is 2. So I can cross at 2. And it goes to an intercept that's 1 below that, or it goes to a line that's 1 below that intercept. It's coming down, approaching 1. And then it is going off with growth that way. This would be the horizontal asymptote, would be y equal 1 below the 2. You can see, step in, you can see it crossing at 2. All right, so domains are really easy on all of these. Made that a point at 12 o'clock today. Negative infinity to infinity. You have no problems. There's no square roots, no fractions. Range. Again, starting from y min, y max. Your minimum y is 1, even though it doesn't hit 1. You use parentheses to show it doesn't exactly include 1, but it's using 1 as the boundary, even though it never hits 1 exactly. And you're going off to infinity. For the horizontal asymptote, already written it up here, y equal 1. All right, so that's the kind of things they want you to be able to pick off of these graphs. And the last thing for this section is, how about problem 57, page 373, problem 57. 10,000 is invested. Interest rate is 3%, compounded semi-annually. Find the value after, and they give you 3 different t values. I won't do all 3. I just like to do part A. So if you watched at 12 o'clock, we're doing the compound interest formula. And we're doing, it's a P, 1 plus R over N raised to the NT. So the amount you put in the bank, that's your principal, 10,000. Interest rate 3%, we'll convert it to decimal 0.03. Semi-annually, is n equals 2. 2 times a year, twice a year, and part A, T, 5 years. Find the amount. It's pretty straightforward as long as you know where all the numbers go. And so your amount is going to be 10,000. 0.03. I'll write it out horizontal like you punch it on the calculator. Divided by 2 raised, again, a parentheses, 2 times 5. So you can punch a 10 straight if you wanted, but if you leave it 2 times 5, make sure you put it in parentheses. N is 2 here, N is 2 there, semi-annually, or T is 5 years. $10,000 parentheses, plus 0.03 divided by 2. You're raising it to the parentheses, 2 times 5. $11,605. Call it 4-1. Generally, dollars and cents go to two places. And I don't know if you know about this trick, but in part B, they change only the t value to 10 years. Well, that means your A is 10,003 divided by 2 raised 2 times 10. Well, it's absolutely identical except they're changing the 5 to 10. So on the calculator, if you hit second enter, you call the whole thing back. And all you got to do is go over to the 5 and make it a 10 and close parentheses. So now you're raising it to the 20th power. 13,468.55. It froze again. That stinks. Let's see if it'll. Freeze on its own and don't act like it wants to. Not a well-oiled machine. You have to stop the share and shake it. All right, try to get back to the camera. I don't know why it wants to freeze. Let's see if we can give a final shot of. All right, there we are. So I punched that exactly the way I've written it and write down the number. Pretty straightforward, should be. 4.2, maybe I'll try one. 4.2, we use the natural exponential. That is the number e, which is 2.71828. It goes on forever. And so your problems wind up in 4.2 using this e for the base. Try one like 29. This is off page 379. And so P of t, 73.2 over 6.1, add 5.9, e to the negative 0.02 t. And I won't maybe use all the parts, but t equals 0 corresponds to 2000. 2000 for the year. So for part A, year 2200, t would be 200. In effect, 200 years from now. So P of 200, 73.2 over 6.1, add 5.9, e to the negative 0.02 200. I can write it out horizontally. That would be 73.2 divided by, parentheses, 6.1, add 5.9. Parentheses up here, negative 0.02 times 200, close there and close there. 2,300, you'd put in a 300 there. 73.2 divided by parentheses 1, add 5.9 e, negative 0.02 times 200, close. So yeah, it's just a matter of matching all the parentheses. $11.79 billion. I would say Earth's population would go up to 11.79 billion. All right, there's a bunch of other parts. Let y'all play with those. Hopefully that's good enough to get y'all started on a lot of these problems. So I'm going to let y'all work with them, and we'll have more Zoom meetings on Thursday at 12 o'clock and at 9 o'clock. All right.